Get your 5 Live podcasts from the 5 Live website, including 5 Live Drive.
bbc.co.uk/5live.
Hi, this is Pete Allen with 5 Live Drive's story of the day. A bomb disposal expert who won the George Medal for his bravery has accused the Ministry of Defence of putting lives at risk by rushing new specialists through inadequate training, meaning the teams aren't properly prepared for the demands of the job in Afghanistan. I asked Kevin Iverson, who's now left the Army, what was wrong with the new training methods.
They're certainly quicker. The training I undertook was about 18 months long. This is about 16 weeks long.
That's quite a transition, isn't it? How do they justify that reduction?
Well, I think the MOD statement suggests that they've taken out a lot of the training that wasn't bomb disposal specific. My view is that a lot of that training was underpinning. It was science, education, ballistics, education on explosives, and that was really critical to being an effective bomb disposal operator.
OK, yeah. I mean, clearly you need to train people as absolutely as well as possible. Do you regard your own training as adequate?
My training was adequate, and I needed every single minute of it in Iraq, certainly.
When it comes to it, how much is it technical ability and how much is it just keeping your nerve and keeping your eyes open? I mean, native cunning, if you like. Well,
actually, clearly there's a lot of technical ability in there, but there's also a lot of situational awareness and what we call threat assessment, which is just building up a picture. But without that technical assessment, that technical capability, the threat assessment and the situational awareness is really wasted.
So do you fear we're putting people's lives at risk here?
Well, I think that we could do more to reduce the risk to these bomb disposal operators. Every single person going on this course is brave and committed, but I think we aren't doing as much as we could be to look after them and the people they're there to support.
So, and when you review your own time, how long were you defusing bombs out there? I
was in bomb disposal for about 7 years, and I spent about 8 months.
What on earth inspired you to do it? I mean, I can, even being a soldier is, considering the roles you have to perform is a bit questionable. Being bomb disposal officer, blimey.
I was actually quite inspired by another bomb disposal officer I met, but I was just really inspired by the challenge of it. I thought it was pretty much the ultimate challenge, and also the responsibility of it. When you arrive at a scene, there could be 100, 150 eyes fall upon you to solve the problem.
Absolutely.
And I loved it.
Did you sweat? How did it feel when you do it? Do you tremble? How do you control your nerves?
Well, initially it was actually just exciting, but after 3.5 months in Iraq with 70-odd rocket attacks, and then this day, the one that's mentioned in Red 1, there was no excitement left anymore. It was just absolute fear.
So what was that day that you're talking about?
Well, that was February 28th, 2006, and that's the day that's principally described in the book. And it was on that day that I had to defuse a secondary device after a friend of mine was on the scene, killed, getting shot at, had no bomb disposal robot, and also no means to stop radio-controlled bombs being initiated.
Wow. And you managed that, but that's when you suddenly thought, I don't like this anymore.
Well, luckily enough, we got through that. I think we had about a 3 or 5% chance of success, and we made it through. But that day had a really long-term effect on me. It's 4.5 years ago now, and I still haven't really recovered from that day.
It's one of these things when you close your eyes, you still see it all, do you?
Absolutely. I think probably every hour of every day since, I've had some kind of recollection of that day. It's getting better, but certainly for a few years afterwards, it was fairly hellish.
It's what people don't realise, perhaps, who've never been through these sort of things. Unfortunately, I never have. But once that's been burnt into your head, it kind of never goes.
No, absolutely not. And there were a couple of images and a couple of experiences in particular on that day which were immensely destructive. But I've benefited in the last 6 months from a course of treatment, which has just let me come to terms with those images. But there's absolutely no chance.
So you still get them?
Yeah, absolutely. But now they're less damaging. They'll never leave me.
Yeah, it's fantastically. I mean, I'm overwhelmed by the heroism of any soldier I meet, and what you do is at the ultimate of that. Do you think it was worth it in retrospect?
Well, it was certainly worth it for me. I joined the Army and became a bomb disposal operator in particular to save lives. And in Iraq, I managed to do that. So
despite the scars that you've suffered as a result of, not physical ones, but mental scars.
Yeah, absolutely. It hasn't been easy for me in the last 4 years, but particularly on that day, we saved some lives, Iraqi lives, British lives, and so for me it's certainly worth it.
Yeah, when you say it was worthwhile, I always get this soldier's answer, because what they're actually talking about is their mates, because they do it for each other.
Absolutely.
As to the general, what it's all about, well, that's almost secondary for many of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is true to say that for most soldiers they do it because of the person to the left of them and to the right of them as well.
Mm. And when you hear, this is when you're not expecting, so you can kind of dodge it if you don't want to answer it, but we just talked about Tony Blair putting a lot of millions of pounds into a unit. Do you think good on him, or do you think, oh, bloody politicians. How do you feel about Tony Blair?
I think both, actually. But but having said that, if I could get £4.6 million for soldiers, I'd certainly take it off Tony Blair. No problem at all.
Right. Kevin, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
This from the MOD, who say ammunition technical officers, ATOs, are highly trained. Not every one of those goes on to become an explosive ordnance disposal officer and to be deployed in Afghanistan. There are no shortcuts, absolutely none. Service personnel receive the training they're required to do the job asked of them.
Thanks for downloading from the BBC. To find other downloads or more information, go online.
bbc.co.uk/5live.